rap hip-hop recording.
And the award goes to Arlo Maverick.
I think that we just need to continue to create great music and realize that we all are out there inspiring one another. And let's continue to build a community.
Hip-hop is a genre that borrows from so many other genres, but also gives back to so many other genres. And I think that the inclusion of soul music, the inclusion of EDM, the inclusion of gospel, the inclusion of rock, the inclusion of reggae makes for a more diverse sound, but also allows my message to reach more communities, reach more ears. Because if something is dope, people are gonna listen to it. And hip hop has a way of making stuff sound cool even when it's not cool. My name is Arlo Maverick. I'm a hip hop artist, filmmaker, and mentor, amongst many other things, from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I come from a Jamaican family, very musical family, not necessarily in the sense of playing instruments, but in the sense of music being around the house growing up, which is part of the reason why I gravitated to wanting to perform. My cousins and I, when we were growing up, used to just do dance routines, and that kind of set us on the path of doing music as something that we would see as a hobby, and then eventually something we see as a career. But the genesis, I would say, to that would be my cousin Donovan, who introduced us to hip hop many years ago. When it comes to the music that I create, I'm inspired by many other genres. I didn't just grow up listening to hip hop. I grew up listening to all types of music, and because of that, it's in me without me knowing it. But also the people who I work with understand that, and they also come with music that they listen to. And I think that sometimes as Black people, we get pigeonholed into only having to listen to hip hop music or genres that are considered Black music. But if you think about it, at the core and at the root of almost every form of popular music is Black people. We've given birth to so many different genres that people have taken and kind of made into their own thing.
I want you guys to be louder than us.
I love being on the stage. I love the energy.
Wow!
I love it when a collective of musicians that I work with is in sync, where we just have that chemistry, we have that energy, we're able to read each other, and we are all working towards the goal of giving the audience the best show they could possibly have.
Y'all can hear me out there? You having a good time? We celebrating the release of my brother's album, Blue Collar. Make some noise.
A lot of times my ideas are inspired by a conversation, possibly something that I've read, possibly something I've watched in a movie, or someone sharing something with me in regards to what they're going through. And then from that point there, like, ideas will start to come to me, and I'll either put them in my phone, or I have a notepad that I travel with as well too, that I'll just write ideas in. And then when I get the time to sit down and begin piecing things together and crafting them, I'm now trying to create a story. A lot of my music is story-based, in the sense of finding something that's relatable to somebody, but giving them a beginning, middle, and end to it. You know, like, what is the challenge, what is the struggle someone's going through, and how do they overcome that? Then I'll typically get with producers or musicians and just start hashing out the ideas, bouncing ideas off. Sometimes if I'm stuck when it comes to choruses, often what I'll do is that I'll get some people together and then have a writing session where it's just like, okay, cool, here's the lyrics, here's the beat, let's see what we can do in regards to coming up with a chorus. Some songs are songs in which I just want people to just escape. Some songs are songs where I want people to think about something. And to me, balance is so important, because as artists, while we need people who are going to reflect and speak for the community, we also need people who are going to be careful of how they represent the community, of how they speak for the community. And I say that in the sense of, if you put too much on people, if you're constantly talking about the negatives and never have the positives or have solutions or have context, then you could end up bringing somebody to a place that they can never get out of. And so for me, the album is very much of a journey where it's peaks and valleys, where I'm able to speak towards the negative, I'm able to provide solutions, but I'm also able to speak about the positives. Representation is very important, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. One of the reasons why a lot of the stereotypes we see exist is because of the fact that we don't have enough people behind the camera that look like us. So there are things that are nuances, if you will, that are very particular to the Black culture or Black experience. Our Blackness informs what we do because of the fact that we live and exist in this space, right? And within that, there are challenges we face on a daily basis that we find creative ways to deal with that, right? If you are the majority, then a lot of times you might look at it from the standpoint of, why do we need to have a Black this? Why do we need to have a Asian that? But you see yourself on a daily basis, whether it be in the textbooks, whether it be the police officers, or whether it be the mayors or the people who are in positions of power. So you know what's possible, and you never had to think about what's not possible, right? But when you have a Black person who is able to see a Black filmmaker, or see a Black chief of police, or a Black mayor, whatever the case may be, a Black astronaut, that allows you to see yourself in that person and say, hey, I can actually strive to be that. So I think that each of us has to push to be our best. We often use the term Black excellence, but I think that Black excellence in a lot of ways minimizes that whole idea, because Michael Jordan isn't just Black excellence, that's human excellence. And because of the fact that we can see that, we can now aspire to that. I think one of the reasons why we see so much collaboration within the city is because we have a lot of great artists in the city, and the artists who are making art recognize that. For me, I want to be able to get to a point where the rest of the world is familiar with and knows the great artists from Edmonton and from Calgary as well too. So I think that where I see things going in the future, I see artists like Moto, I see artists like Moraine, I see artists like Just Mo, I see artists like Selassie. There's so many. We really have a great crop of artists here. And as we see artists like Forever Friday, Arden, Avenor, and 80 Perp do some really big things, it is inspiring. It allows us to realize that there's hope. Because the people that are from this city are able to have an impact on that level, who knows what else we can do. I would love to be able to get to a point where music is what I do, just full time. And I don't mean in the sense of being some huge star or anything like that. I think that we are in a day and age where you could live modestly off of your music if you live within your means. I'll never stop being part of this community. I'll never stop trying to uplift this community. I'll never stop trying to give this community direction based off of what I've been fortunate to experience, because there's been a lot of rooms that I've been able to be in that people from my community haven't been able to be in. I think that the way that the music has influenced and connected me with the city is the fact that the stories that I tell are very Edmonton based. So by virtue of that, there's a connection, because these stories that I'm telling are stories of Edmontonians. And so when they hear the music, they're just like, wait, he's talking about 182. He's talking about White Ave. He's talking about this place. He's talking about this person. And so that in itself allows there to be a connection. But at the same time, though, I think there's something to be said about the city we live in and how it makes us who we are, right? I can't help but be Edmontonian.
Arlo Maverick. Hip-hop artists who aim to move listeners physically, mentally,